Tuning in, it is time for Legal Lane. Vanessa Lane Jennings is in the studio, and this is the time that you would want to call in to ask Vanessa a question that is legal in nature. We would love to hear from you. The phone number is 622-9622. If I can just brag about Vanessa a little bit, her hair looks beautiful. And she's an attorney who focuses on criminal law, contract and small business law, family law, which we're going to touch on some of that, it sounds like, a little bit in just a moment, employment law, any of those above. We are wanting your calls. I know that Vanessa wants this to be an interactive show, so do not feel like you're interrupting us. We want you to interrupt us. So with that said, good morning, Vanessa.
Good morning. How are y'all?
Good. I'm glad it's a sunny day.
It is a beautiful day outside.
Because today's First Friday Art Walk tonight. We're going to be out there.
I'm excied. I'm going to come see you guys.
By the French restaurant tonight, yeah, by La Cuisine.
Perfect. They have the best Bloody Marys in town. So.
Really?
Do they really?
They do.
We'll have to have one.
Tonight they have a French-Italian duo sitting outside.
I like it.
She's got a little French in her, and I have no Italian in me, I don't think, except pizza.
That's the best kind of Italian.
I have plenty of Italian in me if you think of the food I eat. So good to see you again.
It's a pleasure seeing you all.
When you talk about prenups and postnups, first of all, I never heard of a postnup.
You haven't?
No, so you can explain that to me.
Absolutely.
Prenups, just when you think about Valentine's Day, Kelly Hart was just talking about Valentine's Day. Prenups seem so unromantic.
They do seem unromantic if you're coming at it from a pure, like, we're in love and everything's going to be sunshine and roses.
Right.
That's, in my opinion, whether it's my legal opinion or just my personal opinion, that's not necessarily the best approach to life. So I like to think things
because
through.
You've lived a little bit.
Just a little. So a teeny tiny bit. And I've seen all kinds of bad things happen, and I see where it could end up. And I think because of that, planning is very, very important. And especially if you think about in the grand scheme, people who don't have millions and millions of dollars, I go, why do I even need a prenup? Or if they even have hundreds of thousands of dollars, why do I need it? But it's one of those things where if you plan ahead, you can save yourself a lot of grief if anything does happen. There's people who are going to get inheritance when their parents pass away. There's people who are looking to get a business, or they own a business. And those are things you want to protect, while things are good, and if anything goes wrong. Or sometimes you even want a prenup that's going to say, if I pass away, this is what's going to happen to it. It's not a marital asset. It's going to go here, here, or here. And you can do that in prenups.
Is there a way to change it after the fact? Let's say you're of age, you're in school. Well, let's say he's in school. This is a common scenario. He's in school. She's really the breadwinner for those 4 years or whatever. And then he gets out of school. Now she can quit her job. And he's doing really, really well. But basically, she's the reason he was able to go to school.
Correct.
So does she get a piece of that in case it all falls apart?
Well, she gets a lot of different pieces. She's actually going to get a piece of his school debt because the state of Florida...
Oh, so he gets the debt too?
Well, she does. It's a marital debt. So if they were married and he's in school and let's say he's going to be a doctor and he's going to be $200,000 in debt with student loans... She's responsible, even though she didn't sit in one of those classes in the state of Florida, she's responsible for half of that marital debt.
Okay.
Not that we agree with it or not, but there's very clear case law, even here in the Fifth Circuit.
So the prenup could set that up before you even get started.
Correct.
So everybody's on the same page.
Everyone could be on the same page. That's, your debt. You're going to get the benefit from it later when you're a doctor and you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars. So that's your debt. I will never be responsible for your debt if we get divorced.
Okay. Mm-hmm. What other things do you normally because you've done this a lot? You've worked divorce. Does working divorce cases give you a better insight in what the prenup should include?
Yes.
Has that helped you better understand what needs to be talked about before you even say I do?
When you see people fighting over the silliest things, whether or not this one piece of china is person A's or person B's. You literally, when you sit down for a prenup, be like, okay, what is sentimental to you? What are you bringing into this marriage that you want to take away from this marriage from the day one?
Can you enter into a relationship like a business partnership instead of a marriage? Does the law look at it two different ways? Here's why I'm asking this. In the state of, I'm not gay, but when I read all these stories about, does Florida allow gay marriage or no?
Yes.
Oh, we do?
Yes.
Oh, I thought we didn't.
No, we do now.
We do now. When did that start?
Year or so ago.
Oh, so it's relatively recent. Okay.
Correct.
Well, the reason because when these come up, I used to say to friends I have who argue, we have a lady friend down in
Miami.
Miami. Is that where she is? Miami? No, Naples.
Or Naples.
Naples.
I knew it was down there somewhere.
Well, anyway,
That's far to drive.
she's gay and lovely and I thought, well, why can't you have a business relationship so that at least you're sharing things that way, and then if it all falls apart, at least you have something.
Well, in those situations, I mean, let's just say it doesn't matter whether they're heterosexual, homosexual. That doesn't even matter. So let's just say there's two
Okay,
people who
that
want to
doesn't
be
even
in
matter.
Let's just say there's two people who want to be in a relationship,
Right.
but they don't want to get married. Well, then they're not going to. Then whatever's person A's, is theirs. Whatever they have, whatever they brought into it. So when you break up, it's going to be just a breakup. It's not a divorce. You're not going to go through and divide all the debt. So if the house is in both of their names, they don't own it in the entirety as a married couple. They own it as joint tenants in common. So they each have their 50-50 share by law. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's just a little...
That's not the way business worked. I always thought of business, if I was partners with you, and we suddenly decided to go separate ways, that I get half the debt, half of everything.
Right. No, you would get whatever debt's in your name. If some of the debt. So let's just say that, it's myself and somebody else, and somebody else put everything on their credit card, and that credit card's not in my name.
Oh, okay.
And we break up.
That's their problem.
Legally, that's their problem.
That
And
makes
does
sense. Yeah.
and does that also does the state recognize common law marriages?
Some states, not our state,
Oh, okay.
not in Florida.
Okay.
Now, what is the post-nup? Does that mean after divorce or after I do?
After marriage.
After I do,
Right.
but before divorce.
Correct. So people, they've been married a day, 10 years, doesn't really matter. They said, okay, things are still going well, but our financial situation has changed. We're no longer
That's a tough conversation.
two students in school. We're now two successful adults. Everything's going well, but what if it doesn't? All of our friends are getting, and this is where
Our
I
friends
see
are
it.
getting divorced?
Yeah, I see a lot of late 30s people come in and ask, all of our
That's
friends
because
are
of the
getting
30-something snap. Have you ever heard of the 30-something
Yeah,
snap?
it's a good book.
I have not.
It's a fun book.
It's this theory that when you're in your 30s, all of a sudden I guess you're looking at your own mortality, even though I'm in my 60s and I haven't thought about it yet. But you said, I'm going to do some crazy stuff, get divorced, run down the street naked, all kinds of stuff. So it's the
Fair enough.
30-something snap.
So far, I've missed it. So far, got a few more years in my 30s.
There you go.
Okay, so
you're.
so how do you have that conversation? I mean, what do you do? Do you just visit an attorney? Is that the best thing?
Well, I mean, I would probably see an attorney beforehand to know the details, the ins and outs of it before.
That wouldn't go
and
good.
then, well,
Okay,
that
so
way
I
at
go
least
home
you
to
know
my
what they
wife and I
are.
say, I saw an attorney today.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
But I like doing research. I'm a very research-oriented person, so
Really?
I would like to go figure out what it is, how it works, and if that's something I would even want. And then I'd broach the subject, say, hey, this is the landscape.
Wouldn't you be afraid? This is really not a legal question, just a man asking a lady a question. Wouldn't you be afraid that he's thinking about divorcing you? Wouldn't you be afraid of that? I just went to an attorney and we're going to do a post-nup agreement.
Not necessarily,
No?
but I also
Have you
think
worked
things
with people on
differently.
this and they seem fine?
Absolutely. I think I just did one about a week and a half ago.
Really?
Yes.
And do both parties know when this happens, or can one party go in and see you, and then you draw up all the paperwork, and then you just give it to the other person to
Well,
sign?
I normally represent, well, not normally, legally, I only represent one of the parties.
Oh,
And the
okay.
other one, we like to have another attorney in town. So I normally reach out to one of my co-attorneys and have them go ahead and say, that's what I want to do, and represent the other party.
Oh,
It makes it
okay.
easier.
We need to take a little break. If you would like to call Vanessa, please call because she's here another 15 minutes and then she'll be at her office. And right now you can get some information real quick and for free. 622-9622. We'll be right back with Vanessa.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Partly to mostly sunny today, breezy and cooler. A high of 56 to 61. Some clouds tonight, a low of 40 to 54. Then clouds and sun with rain arriving late in the afternoon tomorrow. The high 61 to 69. Breezy and cooler with clouds and sunshine for Sunday. The high 57 to 60. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Maggie Johnson.
Get it for less at the DIY Home Center outlet. Get top quality real wood cabinets the same or less than the big box stores are selling the cheap stuff. And that's not all. Drywall screws big box stores are $6.47 a pound. At DIY, only $4.99. Plus, DIY has the largest selection of mobile home parts and accessories anywhere. From carpet to doors, get the DIY supplies you need for less. The DIY Home Center outlet. We are your building material closeout store. 2191 Northwest 10th Street, just 2 miles east of I-75.
We're saving thousands with Robert Palmer.
So rule number one is always shop around. Always shop around. If you're trying to get a mortgage, if you're trying to get the best credit card, if you're looking at student loans, cell phone bills, you name it, rule number one is always shop around. Always shop around.
That's rule number one, just one more vital part of fighting back to stop being a financial zombie. Yes, you can take the mystery out of the complicated world of finances. Take charge when it comes to your money. Listen in on The Source, 96.3 FM and 1370 AM, Saturdays at 12:05.
Find forests of fun, make mountains of memories, discover your room with a view at the Ocala RV Show. North Central Florida's largest RV show is February 4th through 7th at the Florida Horse Park. Tour hundreds of RVs, local dealers competing for your business. Register to win a $100 gas card every day. No purchase necessary. Thursday through Saturday 9 to 5, Sunday 10 to 4. Adults $5, kids under 16 free. Buy one, get one free Thursday. And military, active, or retired save $2 every day. The Ocala RV Show.
That was the sound of a tree falling. It could be your tree. You're going to have it trimmed, but never got around to calling Pride Tree Service. It could have fallen in a field, and now all you have to do is call Pride Tree Service, and they'll have it quickly out of the way for a great price. But don't wait until the tree falls. It may not fall in the field. It may hit your car, your house, or worse. So call Pride Tree Service today and avoid all those headaches before they happen. Pride Tree Service, 840-0750. That's 840-0750.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
Research tells us that exercise makes us smarter and more productive. However, different workouts give us different benefits. How much somebody earns is not indicative of whether they're a cheapskate or a spendthrift, because somebody who's broke could still have a shopping addiction. It happens all the time. But it turns out the happiest couples focus on just 2 words: thank you.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
All right, 12 minutes before 11 o'clock. Sometimes the stuff in the break would be, we should put this stuff on the air, I think, sometimes. All right, Vanessa Lane Jennings is in the studio. The show is called Legal Lane, and Vanessa is here every Friday at this time. Please, if you have a question about the law, we are having fun. And but we don't want you to think because we're having fun, you can't ask a serious question. We want your questions asked, and we do have somebody calling in. Okay, here we go. Can you hear me, Vanessa?
I can hear you,
okay.
yes.
Good morning. You're on the air with Vanessa.
Yes, good morning. Thank God for this program. I need a lawyer once in a while, but not for myself.
Uh-oh.
Say, what does legally separated mean?
Oh, that's a good question.
In the state of Florida, it doesn't mean anything. Florida doesn't recognize legal separation. There's certain states that require individuals to be separated for a period of time, and their laws and their statutes say 4 months, 6 months, 1 year before they're able to go into a divorce. So that's what a legal separation is. It's that period of time before you enter a divorce. The state of Florida doesn't require that. You're allowed to file for divorce instantaneously.
The reason I asked is if you were legally separated, and let's say, for an example, you won a lottery, would you have to share it with your wife? Or let's say your wife went on a spendthrift and ran up a big bill. Would you be responsible for that?
Well, in the state of Florida, the way that would work is your separation. If you were, let's say, filed for divorce and you were living separately, you filed, you would claim that the date of filing was the date when all marital assets and liabilities stop. So if you won the lottery after you filed for divorce, you would claim that's a non-marital asset. Of course, she's going to claim it is a marital asset because she's going to want to go after it, and then it's going to be up to a judge. But more than likely, because you filed and that's the point of demarcation, you're pretty safe. You never know what a judge will
The
do.
date that you filed for divorce is the date in which that it's recognized as you being separated from your wife.
That is, in the state of Florida, that would be your argument. She could argue from the date of divorce,
really? Oh, really?
But your argument would be from the date of filing. And if you filed and you moved out and there was a point of that's your point of demarcation right there. That's your date of separation.
Yes. Very good. I was going to say real quickly that I'm very happily married. It has nothing to do with myself, but I was just wondering because I had somebody that I knew that was going through the situation, and I was just kind of curious to find out what it was about.
Yeah, that put your wife at ease when she heard you say that on the radio.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Valentine's Day was almost going to be hard for you. All right, thank you. Yeah, but see, he had to say that because he didn't want in case she was listening, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Clarify, honey, it is not for you.
So
When you
demarcation, just a new word for me. I just hadn't heard that before.
Point of demarcation?
Yeah.
when you do a prenup and
Yes.
there's no children at all, but you want to have children, are those future children the custody arrangements arranged in the prenup? Can you do that?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We've done it before, and they've been upheld. So,
Oh.
and then I've defended ones that I didn't draft, but they've been upheld. So, because you contemplate it, and most of the time at that point it's 50-50. I represented the gentleman in that case, and before they ever had kids, they contemplated, if we get divorced, this is how all of our assets and liabilities are going to be divided.
Right.
She owned a business, he owned like 4. So they wanted to make sure that they were in complete separate columns. By the time they got divorced, of course, they went through 2008. Things were lost and gained, and there was, deaths, unknown inheritance. There was all kinds of side problems that weren't necessarily thought about. But then what was thought about was the businesses and the future children.
Oh.
And they agreed to 50-50. And now she didn't want to do 50-50.
Oh, my gosh.
I have a question. This is based on a pastor we know who does a show here on Sundays, and we've known him for a very long time. He's actually a friend. He became a friend because of the show, but he's done shows with us since
30 years.
another radio station, even.
Yeah.
Yeah, long
wow.
time. But
Okay.
so just giving you, I'm just trying to establish that we know him very well. So he's building out in Silver Spring Shores a home for pregnant girls who don't have anywhere else to go.
how wonderful.
Because his philosophy is he's anti-abortion, and he doesn't just want to say don't get an abortion. He wants to say, look, why don't you live in this house? You got no place to go. Dad won't let you home if you come home pregnant. He had a story like that, which is crazy. Not the father of the baby, but I mean the father of the girl.
Correct.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
So anyway, so he has the.
I could see it happening. And
You see it all the time?
no, I could see it happening.
Oh, okay. So he has built this home, and what he's going to do is instead of putting the babies up for adoption, he's going to have the girls working with the future adoptive families. In other words, there's going to be an agreement. So there's a couple there waiting for the baby to be born and actually becoming friends with the mother-to-be, the biological mother-to-be.
So they're doing an open adoption.
Is that what that's called? Okay. So does that girl ever have a chance to change her mind? It would be heartbreaking to the couple that wants to adopt it.
Now, I've had a couple who were in the process, and the mother changed her mind the day the child was born. And I could say for all parties involved, that was probably one of the most heartbreaking cases ever. Legally, she's allowed to change up. There's grace periods built in, and that she's allowed to change her mind up to a certain point.
So there's, assuming there's paperwork, and which would make the legal part of this why I'm bringing it up on your show.
Oh, there's several different agreements,
Really?
different types of agreements that they can enter into.
And even though they're minors, who would witness for them if they're minors if they do the paperwork?
If they're over the age, if they're 16 or older, they have the ability to theoretically enter into the contract.
Oh.
If their parent won't or guardian won't allow them, but most of the time it's their parent or guardian.
Okay, now let me throw a little wrench in the spokes or whatever you say. What if the dad of the baby comes forward and says, you didn't tell me. You didn't tell me that I got you pregnant. You didn't tell me this. And now you're going to give the baby up. I would like to raise the baby. Does that guy have a chance?
I'm working on a case that's very similar to that right
Really?
now. Where the adoption took place in California. The father's here. The mom moved to California, and
And you're helping the father?
and then the child's somewhere in Arizona.
Oh, well, good
So-
for you for doing that.
Well, I'm representing him for part of the Florida part. There's a lot of different aspects of this particular case. But
Oh, my gosh.
so there's all things going on. But yeah, it happens, and it's one of those things you have to fight. And sometimes it could be undone, and sometimes it cannot.
Oh my gosh, even though he's the biological dad and he wants that baby.
Correct.
And now, so that way you're going to have to do your part here, but you're also going to have to work with
We have
a
two other
lawyer in
attorneys.
California.
And a lawyer in Arizona.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. There's three lawyers who need, because there's 3 different courts that are now involved.
Oh.
But the courts coordinate. There's a federal statute that allows for a coordination.
Well, you need a night out. You need a margarita or
Gosh.
something. Do you,
Most days.
I don't drink, so I don't even know what it means to say I need a margarita, but it sounded good. You said the place we're playing at tonight has good ones, right?
No, they have good Bloody Marys.
Oh, Bloody Marys. That's
They
what
also
you
have
said.
good
Okay.
wine. They have lots of,
Okay.
La Cuisine has lots of good food. But my favorite thing there is their bacon-infused vodka Bloody Mary.
Oh,
I've never had one of those.
Well,
Bacon infused. I'm
It's
going to
right
have to
behind
try
you
that then.
tonight.
I know.
yeah, they have candied bacon, like a piece of candied bacon that they put inside of it. It's absolutely delicious.
Oh my gosh. I'll have to take you up on that. I'm going to have one tonight after we're done playing.
yeah.
After 9
Yeah,
o'clock.
because God forbid she should play drunk. Don't play.
one drink.
Don't play the mandolin. There's
Play
a law against
responsibly.
that. There's a law against that. So what is the truth about this video that's circulating on the internet where you get pulled over and you just hold up a sign to the police officer with your driver's license and all that stuff? Is that real? I mean,
Your little go bag,
yeah.
as we like to call it at our firm. You can do it. It's completely legal.
And the police know that it's legal, right? They have to know. I mean, aren't police officers basically very well versed in the law? They have to be. Not always, huh? Your face.
I reserve answer on that. Some are and some aren't. I mean, it's just like anybody. You know, there's even some judges that are well versed and some that are not. So I mean,
So police.
Just depends
So
on person.
and is this true only in Florida? Like, if a policeman stops you in Georgia or New Jersey or something like that, you just hold up a sign that says, "Here's my driver's license. Here's my what are you? The 3 things you need."
Insurance,
Yeah.
auto insurance, and
registration
registration.
and your license. I mean, you don't have to hold up a sign. You could just hand it to them and look forward. The reason people are suggesting that, or lawyers suggested it, the community suggests it, is because the police officer's trained to look for signs of intoxication. They're trained to look for signs that something's wrong. And the less communication that you have with them, if you know, the better off you are. If you had a drink or if you've...
But isn't that for our safety that they do that? I would want the police officer to be able to do that.
Well, and that's because you haven't had a drink. But if you've had a drink and you were pulled over, you don't want them, and even if it's one drink, you don't want them presuming that you're, you know, driving drunk. So you're not encouraging that line of questioning. And then you're not asked, you know, and then we would follow them would
So
be
what do they do? What's the
eye gazes and
Okay.
all the field sobriety tests.
But it's legal to do. They can't arrest you for not rolling down your window or not.
Well, you have to give them the information. You don't, you know,
Okay.
you don't necessarily have to verbally respond.
But then you still have to sign the ticket. I mean, if he gives you a ticket, you still have to give him access to put the
Sure.
ticket through the window because you.
I haven't gotten tickets. So I don't know. Do you sign them?
Do you?
I did.
Oh, Robin did. Okay.
I got a speeding ticket like 4 years ago, and I had to sign it to acknowledge it.
Okay.
Vanessa, this has been
We'll see.
interesting. I'm disappointed that the time ran out already. How do we get a hold of you at your office?
You can call our office at area code 352-804-0092.
All right, call us if you need that number repeated. And JenningsLaw.net, that's the website?
That's correct.
JenningsLaw.net. Call us if you need any of that repeated and share the video you just heard recorded because somebody will benefit from that information. We'll take a little break. We'll be right back. Thank you, Vanessa.
Casting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. Bernie Sanders closing in on Hillary Clinton in the latest Quinnipiac poll, 42% to her 44%. The two Democrats faced off last night.
Sanders slammed Clinton on her ties to Wall Street.